Hi, my name is Harry Toozle, and over time you will learn how these newsletters benefit you. But the background to them is I call them better business, better life. And what I'm trying to do is infuse some positivity in a world that sometimes we feel has gone mad with bad news and people with their fingers on buttons that they should rather not push. I'm only sending it to people if they request it. Over time you'll get to know me, and I hope to get to know you through your comments. I hope they are favorable. I have a fragile ego. Well, no, not really. Every week you'll get a tip, a few of them, on powerful life and business improvement. Simple tips, simple reminders, but powerful over time that as they accumulate should make a great difference to both your business and your life. Now let's jump straight into the first one I've got, and this week I'm talking about how to feed your mind, the good dog or the bad dog. Now the story has been told in many ways, but it's about the old man who had a dog, a good one, a bad one, and the good one was always bullied, and the bad one always fought with it, bullied it, bit it, and basically beat it up. And then this changed, and people said, well, how did you get the good dog to start winning? And he said, I stopped feeding the bad dog and just fed the good one. And the bad dog became emaciated, weak, couldn't fight. Now, I don't propose we do that to real animals, but we should do that to our minds and feed the good dog. Feed the good. Look at what is good and honorable, worthy of praise, what is excellent. This week, I would challenge you to keep track and feed your mind on what's good. Now, the other thing I'm asking you to do is think of Pollyanna. Now, the story of Pollyanna is well known. This overly optimistic girl who played the glad game and everything happened was reinterpreted in terms of the good that could come from it. You see, I'm saying is our skill, our success depends on the top 3 inches of our head. That makes the biggest difference, and I think Pollyanna had that. And I would change nothing in the world if I could have a permanently positive, I'm not meaning unrealistically, stupidly, excessively unbelievable things, but positive about how to approach every adversity, every good, every possibility in life with that. So try this for 21 days, I would say, actually, and rephrase every event that happens to you in a positive and optimistic way. Now, I also have with my free downloads, which is at the end of the newsletter, and the link is there. You go to my website, harrytoozle.com, and you can get all those downloads for free, and some of this is discussed there too, in a bit more detail. This week, feed your mind on the positive food. Play your own glad game. Now, the other thing is we have an unimaginable standard of living compared to our ancestors. But what we do is we compare ourselves to the people around us. Either those that are much better off than us, or the people that's much worse off. And it does one of two things. If they're better off, it makes us feel downhearted, downcast, and done by. If they're better off, we may start feeling guilty that we are doing so well. We can't win. I would suggest look at the trend of history, appreciate that, and do the best you can. Build your prosperity, build your strength, build your character. And that brings me to the words of Abraham Lincoln, which I absolutely love this quote. You cannot bring about prosperity by discouraging thrift. You cannot strengthen the weak by weakening the strong. You cannot help the wage earner by pulling down the wage payer. You cannot further the brotherhood of man by encouraging class hatred. You cannot help the poor by destroying the rich. You cannot establish sound security on borrowed money. You cannot keep out of trouble by spending more than you earn. You cannot build character and courage by taking away initiative and independence. You cannot help men permanently by doing for them what they should do for themselves. So go out there this week and be that difference, the prosperous, the wage payer, the person who treats everyone equally, the the people who uplifts the poor and helps others by giving them a hand up. Now, in business performance, we often look at the measures, but I would challenge you this week, forget the measures, because the measures just tells us how well we're doing. Look at the actions, and one of the key actions we can look at is our people. Do not forget that it is people that breathes the life into any business. I sat today in the mall. I like sitting there in the mall, looking at people while I'm drinking a coffee, and the different types of people walking past, ages, sexes, obviously different incomes, different professions, how they dress. Amazing. Remember, all those people work somewhere, they have families, and you have a small part to play in this great thing called life. Remember, it is us, the people, that make life. We do not work so we can live. Do we? Or do we? You see, many people will work, and then think they're going to live. But remember, it is about life first and people. Now, use those tips that I've just given you and use it with others, and remember the people. Breathe life into this community around you. It could be your staff, it could be suppliers, it could be a few colleagues that you work with. All the things I've just said, ask yourself how you can do for them what I've just challenged you to do for yourself. Now, I have free resources available on my website, harrytoozle.com. Have a look at that. And with that, this is the end of this week's discussion on my newsletter. I hope to see you next week, but I wish you the best and all the success for the week coming.